Hello and welcome to Healthcare in the Know, sponsored by Bright Star Care of Venice and Port Charlotte. My name is Justin and I will be your host. Today we are going to be discussing VA aid and attendance with Shannon Feinroth from the Life Planning Law Firm. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Could you give us an introduction to Life Planning Law Firm?
Okay. Life Planning Law Firm, we are a small law firm up in Sarasota, Florida. We specialize in all things elder care related, everything from estate planning to veterans benefits to Medicaid and anything that you would encounter in your senior years. My job at Life Planning Law Firm, I specialize in the veterans benefits as well as Medicaid benefits. So I deal with the Department of Veterans Affairs all day long.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
That's something that a lot of people need to know more about. We really lack a lot of information about VA aid and especially Medicaid benefits. A lot of people think that when it comes to Medicaid, you can only get it if you're absolutely indigent and don't realize that it is actually something that you can get, as you're running out of money. You may have been extremely wealthy and you're just getting to the end of your money in healthcare, and they don't realize that that's a service that they're now eligible for. So that's a great service that you guys are providing.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is VA aid and attendance?
Okay, yes. So VA aid and attendance has many names, and you'll hear it referred to as improved pension, VA assisted living benefits, VA benefits for home health care, or elder care benefits for veterans. So it comes in different names. If you are a veteran or a surviving spouse of a veteran, and you are overwhelmed with the high cost of long-term care, such as paying for assisted living or home health care, this benefit, aid and attendance, can help you pay for these rising care costs. Whenever a veteran or a survivor requires the aid and attendance of another person, or they can't leave their house because of their health problems, they may be eligible for this additional money coming from the VA.
Now, is that above and beyond, what they're already getting with VA benefits and all?
Absolutely. So what it is, that VA benefits is a pension, and it has nothing to do with you getting wounded in a war. It is a pension benefit that is offered only to veterans who served during a wartime period. For a husband and a wife, it'll pay about $2,230 a month. That equals $26,760 a year.
That's a lot of help.
That's a lot of money, and that's free. There's no taxes on it. For a single veteran, like for a widower, he can receive $1,881 a month, or $22,572 a year. And lastly, the surviving spouses of veterans, the widows, they can receive up to $1,209 a month, or $14,508 a year. And that's as long as they are either receiving home health care in their own home, or they live in an assisted living facility. That's the magic combination in order to get this benefit.
Wow, that's a lot of help, especially whenever you start thinking of what some of the cost is for some of these facilities. I mean, that'll pay almost half of your cost in facility care. That's
Absolutely.
Pretty incredible.
It's a wonderful, wonderful way to supplement your income in order to pay for that care that you need. Wow. None of us are getting any younger or any healthier. So eventually, we're all going to need help with somebody else.
Right.
And especially in this area. So when seniors get to the point where they need home health care or they need assisted living, and if you are a veteran, look into this benefit, because
Absolutely.
It can pay anywhere from $14,000 to $27,000 a year.
Now, you said that the people, to become qualified for it, you have to at least serve 1 day in an active war.
Yep.
So with that being said, I mean, we've got some veterans that are my age, 30s to 35, that have served in Afghanistan and places like that.
Absolutely.
Who is eligible for this kind of aid and benefit?
That's a great question. So veterans who served during a wartime conflict. And right now on my desk, I've got World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, the early days, and yesterday I just had a Gulf War veteran. You have to be over the age of 65.
Okay.
served during a wartime conflict, you had to have an honorable discharge, 90 consecutive days of active duty, and only one day of your duty had to have fallen in that conflict. You could have been stateside. It doesn't matter where you were, but as long as you have your DD-214, which is your discharge papers, to prove when you served, one day during a conflict. For a surviving spouse to be eligible, her most recent husband had to have been a veteran who served during the wartime period, and she can never have been remarried. So she had to stay single after his passing. And so that eligibility is the #1 requirement for this benefit. I call it the invitation to the party. And as long as they meet that service requirement, then I can move on to the other eligibility.
Right.
Here's a little known fact. Northport has the highest concentration of veterans in the state of Florida.
Wow.
And that's something that is very, very significant, because as any veteran over the age of 65 probably they were drafted.
Right.
And there were millions that were drafted for World War II and as well as Korea. So this is going to be a great benefit for a lot of people living in Northport.
That statistic is pretty incredible to know that the highest level of veteran population resides in Northport as far as the state of Florida.
South
That's
Sarasota
incredible.
County.
Wow.
So much so that the VA office opened up another satellite office in the City Hall.
Oh, wow.
Down in the Northport City Hall.
Well, for all the veterans out there that are listening, we thank you for the service that you've put in and for all that you've done for our country. So how long does it take to get the benefits?
Okay, so there is an application process. As with any government agency, there's always paperwork. And that you start out by filling out an application. And they're pretty complex. You want to make sure that you have help doing it with somebody that's properly licensed and accredited. When you file, that establishes sort of a line in the sand. And the VA sometimes can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to process the claim. They have their own timeline, as with any big government agency. They have a lot of claims every month. So the VA receives about $40,000 a month every month from all the different types of benefits. So between 3 and 6 months. Then once you're approved, what's magical about this benefit is that it's retroactive to the date, back to when you first made the application. So it's worth the wait. While you're waiting, you technically get paid. So you can just pretty much between 3 and 6 months. Now I do notice that my surviving spouse applications, they take a little longer, and that is something that we always tell our clients, that I want to make sure that you understand that if you're a surviving spouse, yours won't come back quite as quickly, but it will. And as long as you have all of your 4 requirements all set up.
And what are those 4 requirements?
You are fine. So in a nutshell, for this benefit to be awarded, 4 major requirements. #1 is service, that the veteran had to have served during a wartime period and be able to prove it. Oftentimes veterans maybe can't find their papers. No worries, we just get a copy from the National Archives. So that's the first requirement. The second requirement is their health. Remember, this is called aid and attendance for a reason.
Right.
When you need the aid and attendance of another person to help you live your life with dignity, this benefit is ready for you. So if you're needing home health care, or you're needing assisted living, and you're needing assistance with your activities of daily living, then that's going to be the second test. And with each test, of course, there's paperwork and there's ways that you have to let the VA know that you've passed it. So that's why I'm just kind of touching on them. So first is service, second is health. The third is going to be an income test. And the best way for me to describe this is just a little math formula. And when you are starting to spend all of your monthly income to pay for either home health care or assisted living, then you pass the test. So remember that this test is a reimbursement. This benefit's a reimbursement. It's the VA is helping you pay for what you're spending for home health care or assisted living.
Right.
So when you're starting to eat up all of your monthly income by paying these large costs of long-term care, that's where you can pass this part of the test. And that's pretty simple when you go to assisted living.
Yeah.
It's not inexpensive, and unless you have long-term care insurance,
Exactly.
you'll use up a lot of your monthly income. But the good news is that the VA is just waiting to help you with that. And the amounts that I shared with you earlier is the maximum amount that you can get. Last but not least is assets. So the VA had a big law change last year, back in October. So, and that how much money that you're allowed to keep, your net worth. And the net worth is everything you own, with the exception of your house and your car. Everything else is considered an asset according to the VA.
Right.
Your money in the bank, CDs, investments, the cash value of life insurance, pretty much anything that has your social security number attached to it, the VA is going to know about it, and that's an asset, with the exception of a house, with the exception of your car. So there's a lot of little nuances about that, but that's a conversation for another day. So once upon a time, the maximum amount used to be $80,000. That's how much you could have in assets. That is now increased to almost $127,000.
Wow.
A little bit less. That's what you're allowed to have in assets, and that's combined. So if you're married, it's a husband and wife.
Okay.
And as long as you don't have more than that, then you're ready to apply. And that's something that at our law firm, we encourage you to, whether it be with us or an accredited agency, sit down with somebody, go through those 4 requirements, and see if the stars align, as I say. And if they do, then get ready to apply. And it's a wonderful benefit, and it'll continue to pay for as long as you're at home or you're in assisted living, which statistics say that's a minimum of about 5 years. So that's a lot of money over 5 years.
Yeah, especially when you look at the cost of home care even. I mean, that can run you up to $18,000 a month if you need 24-hour care.
Easily. And this is a nice way to supplement that.
Yep.
So those are the 4 requirements in order to get it. And once you get ready, once you pass those 4 tests, then you apply, you wait. Once you're approved, you're paid retroactively. And then every month going forward, the VA pays you personally. It's not like they send a check to the home health care company. They put the money in your bank account.
Nice.
You control it, which is nice.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, very much
Yep,
so.
absolutely.
Now, annuities, does that count towards your asset? I know that annuities used to not count towards asset. Is that with Medicaid or was that with the VA benefits?
There's a lot of controversy about the annuities. Annuities kind of have one foot in both worlds. They generate income, and then they also are assets. So some annuities you can call up and cash out. They have a cash value to them, even though they spin off a monthly income. The cash value of that annuity for VA purposes would be countable.
Okay.
Once upon a time, they were not.
Right.
So just be cautious. If you have annuities, you're going to want to have them looked at. For Medicaid purposes, they look at it differently. Yes, you can keep your annuity as long as you turn over that monthly income to the nursing home. However, if you're a single person and you have an annuity, you will have to change the beneficiary of that annuity to the state of Florida and not your children or your grandchildren. So that's kind of a tricky part about the annuity situation when you're straddling 2 different public benefits.
Okay.
So if you've got an annuity, just be mindful, be cautious, and make sure it's looked at before you get your hopes up for any of these benefits.
Right.
Okay.
Well, for those of you guys that are just tuning in, this is Healthcare in the Know, sponsored by Bright Star Care of Venice and Port Charlotte. And our guest today is Shannon Feinroth from Life Planning Law Firm. And we've actually had a really great conversation so far today. I mean, we've covered quite a bit about what is VA aid in attendance. We've discussed how you get it. You know, I've learned that Northport carries one of the highest populations of veterans. That's pretty amazing in itself. But we do have a few more questions. If somebody thinks that they are eligible for benefits, what should they do?
Okay, so right here in Northport you have your very own VSO office, and VSO means Veterans Services Organization. Every county in the state of Florida has a VA office, and they have a fantastic staff of usually retired officers and veterans that work there. And it's sort of a combined effort between the VA as well as the state to provide information and services to veterans about all the benefits, not just this one, but about them all. because
Right.
VA benefits come in about 18 different flavors.
Wow.
So the Northport VA office is in the City Hall, and that's really convenient.
Absolutely. For those of you
Yeah.
guys that don't know where City Hall is, it is the big yellow building on Sumter Boulevard, right behind the fire department and the police station, catty corner from the Publix there at the corner of Heron Creek, and at the corner of Price and Sumter there by Heron Creek.
The other way is to talk to a VA accredited attorney. That's what we are. We're a VA accredited law firm. And what does VA accreditation mean? That's kind of like going to making sure that your doctor is board certified or has a license to practice medicine. Same thing with VA accredited agents. VA accreditation means that the authority has been granted to us by the Department of Veterans Affairs to assist veterans in the preparation and presentation of any and all their claims for benefits. So we've kind of been blessed by the VA. Attorney Kevin Pillion, who I work with, has had to go through a rigorous program and training and vetting in order to be accredited.
Oh,
So
very
whether you choose us or any other agent, make sure they're accredited and prove it. Go online, go to the VA website, and trust but verify that they're accredited, because there's a lot of shysters out there.
Mhm.
A VA accredited attorney will help you with the same way by obtaining the benefits and counseling you on your eligibility. Our law firm is opening up an office here in Northport
Oh, very nice.
in about 2 months. So we're going to be right here on Tamiami Trail, right next to the Ace Hardware and across
Awesome.
from the Catholic Church. So our consultations are free. That our job is to talk to veterans, ask them about eligibility, make sure that all their ducks are in a row, and if we can help them, we do. And we usually work in conjunction with the VA office over in Northport. If we can't help them, then we send them over to the VA officers down in City Hall. But make sure that your VA accreditation search is complete. Check them out online at the VA government website. It is a felony for someone to help you who is not a VA accredited. You have to be blessed, and you have to have the authority granted to you by the VA in order to talk to veterans, because there's so much abuse out there.
So when it comes to VA benefits, you can't just go to any attorney. You can't just go to anybody. You have to find that VA accredited attorney.
Absolutely. And so a lot of times there's speakers and people that say, well, I know a lot about VA benefits, or I work for an organization that's kind of patriotic sounding. That doesn't mean that they're accredited. And sometimes hiding behind those people are people that just want to move your assets or sell you insurance or something like that. So whether it be us or anybody else, there are law firms in this area that are accredited. You make sure that they are. And the VA office, there's one in Venice, Northport, and Sarasota. And those guys are fantastic too.
I see you've got the number written down for the VA office here in Northport.
I do.
If you want to shout out that number.
The VA office in Northport is area code 941-429-7214. And that's the Northport VA office. There's one also in Venice. I don't have that number.
No.
And so wherever you go, just make sure that they're accredited to help you, and it's their job to help you understand the benefits. And if you do apply, what the eligibility requirements are. Oftentimes with this benefit, we will have clients that come in that are still too healthy and still too young. It hasn't happened yet. They don't need the care quite yet. But it sure is important to get the information, understand what's going to be needed when that time comes.
So we've talked about what is out there for the seniors and all of that, but what happens if you are in your 30s, 35, you've become disabled, you have a situation in place, and you need help, and you are a veteran? Is your law firm somebody that they could reach out to as well? Is there assistance for them?
You can't. Our law firm specializes only in the VA improved pension with aid and attendance. That's our specialty area. That's what I do every day, all day. However, we are a VA accredited law firm, so we will be able to send you in the right direction.
Perfect.
We may not be able to handle your claim, but we're going to make sure that we get you in with somebody who does. And usually it's with another law firm that is also VA accredited. For the younger veterans, you would want to start with the VA office. And then if something got complicated and you needed to get into the system and maybe fight for something, then we can be of assistance for that. So all of us that are accredited, we're all working together to help everybody. And a lot of times it's just answering questions.
Perfect. Awesome. So what else do you want us to take away from this interview today? What's the one thing that you want to make sure that everybody has heard?
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of a cure. Start now in getting your affairs in order. Start now while you're healthy, while you can make your own decisions. Look into these benefits. This benefit's going to be there for you when the time comes. But don't wait for a crisis. It's
Right.
a lot harder to get this benefit in a crisis situation than it is when you're planning for it.
Absolutely.
And it's a benefit that's fantastic. It pays a lot of money. It's free. It's not taxable. And look into it now and start making those plans, because it's something that's really going to pay off a lot for those veterans. And last but not least, you earned it.
Right.
You earned it, and you were and it's the VA's way of saying thank you for that time and for what you did. This benefit, the genesis of this benefit, honestly, it goes back to the Civil War, when the guys were gone for years and years and years, and they weren't able to earn their income
Right.
with their fields and with what was going on at home, and they left a big hole in their budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was actually, the genesis was back then, that the VA wanted to be able to give back to the seniors
Well, that's awesome.
at some point in their life, to be able to help them with their long-term care.
Very cool. Well, Shannon, one thing we didn't do throughout all of this, we didn't give information of how somebody can get a hold of you. Can you give us your website, your phone number?
Yes. So we are Life Planning Law Firm. We are located in Sarasota, and we're opening an office in Northport. Our phone number is 941-914-6000. And you're welcome to call anytime. Usually you'll probably talk to me first, because I like to talk, especially about this benefit. And we are online at www.lifelawfirm.com.
Awesome. And so, if you wouldn't mind, give us a little rundown. I know we've talked about a lot of, we've mainly talked about the VA benefits, but your law firm also adds in some other things that you guys offer. So, if you can give us a real quick recap of some of those things that you offer there as well.
We do a tremendous amount of incapacity planning for that day when you are not able to make those decisions for yourself. And that's called estate planning. And we do wills, we do trusts, we do healthcare powers of attorney, living wills, for those of you who remember that Terry Schreibo case.
Mm-hmm.
We do a tremendous amount of Medicaid planning. Medicaid can help pay for nursing home care or assisted living. Can also help with some home health care. We do, of course, the veterans benefits. We do crisis planning. We do advocacy, placement, pretty much anything and everything that a senior might encounter as they navigate through long-term care. And we also help a lot of the adult children that don't live in Sarasota or Venice or Northport, and we help them make sure that mom and dad are okay.
Awesome. Well, you know, there's a lot of information there. So one last time, give us your phone number and your website, how people can get a hold of you.
Life Planning Law Firm, 941-914-6000. www.lifelawfirm.com. And our consultations are always free.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful.
Absolutely. And it's great information that our community really needs to get out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Justin Willis with Healthcare in the Know. And today's guest was Shannon Feinroth from the Life Planning Law Firm. Thanks again for joining us today. Be happy, be healthy, and be safe. Have a great day.